Peoria City Council meeting will now come to order. Please rise for a moment of quiet reflection and the Pledge of Allegiance led by Councilmember Toma.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Clerk will please call the roll.
Mayor Carlett,
Here.
Councilmember Toma,
Here.
Councilmember Patena,
Here.
Councilmember Finn,
Here.
Councilmember Hunt,
Here.
Councilmember Leone.
Here.
Thank you. Good evening and welcome to the Peoria City Council meeting of January 20th, 2015. This is the final call to submit speaker request forms. If anyone would like to address an issue on the agenda or if you would like to speak regarding a non-agenda item, please pick up a speaker request form either from the lobby or from the city clerk, and you will be recognized at the appropriate time. The first item on the agenda is the consent agenda. These are items listed with a C, and they are considered routine by the City Council or have been previously addressed by the Council. They will be passed by one motion unless a member of the Council requests that an item be removed from the consent agenda. Are there any items to be removed? Mr. Toma?
I'd like to discuss item 4C.
Okay, thank you. So is there a motion to approve the consent agenda with the removal of item 4C?
So move.
Second? Okay. Motion by Councilmember Hunt and seconded by Councilmember Patena. Please vote. The consent agenda passes unanimously. Now, item number 4, can we have a staff report, please?
Yes, Chief Reese, would you come down and address this item, please? Bobby Reese is our fire chief.
Mayor and Council, good evening. How are you?
Good evening.
My privilege to go over this item, proposed name change. And we're proposing to change our name to Peoria Fire Medical. What's in a name change? What's in a name? It defines us as to who we are and what we do. As you can see up there, the business that we're really in is medical business. Over 85% of responses are medical related. We respond to over 14,000 medical calls a year here in the city of Peoria. We've been providing paramedic medicine for over 30 years here, about 40 years in the Valley. This program has immensely grown and evolved over 30 years. Our future, which my crystal ball says that within the next 5 years, that we'll be going back to the future, which means that if you can remember reading about the days where doctors used to make medical house calls, and when they made those house calls, they didn't treat you and send you to the hospital. They treated you and released you and checked in on you the next day. Told you to take 2 aspirins and call me in the morning. So this is what we mean by treat and release, is that the future of paramedicine is community paramedicine, and it's in the works now due to a couple of things. Is the insurance companies are paying out too much, and part of the affordable health care that will penalize hospitals for receiving patients that aren't truly emergency or emergent care patients. And so with all that, you're going to see the paramedicine programs evolve to where we'll respond. For example, would be diabetics or high blood pressure, where we would treat and then check up on them the next day. They're not true emergent patients where you need to actually send them to the hospital. We're walking into the hospital costs them $2,000 just to walk in, not including the transportation bill. So all that is kind of driving paramedicine in the near future. The other is treat and refer, where we would go out and refer patients to either their doctors or to another facility, get medicines for them or prescriptions for them, write prescriptions, and refer them to, one example would be mental health facilities, where they don't really need to go to a hospital, but they need a different kind of care. Some of you may not know that we are literally an emergency room on wheels, is that we do everything out in the field minus blood tests, lab work, and CT scans and x-rays. But we do everything else. We actually carry more drugs than you see in a crash cart in an emergency room. And you can see some of the other things that we've been doing for some time. One of those drugs is a cyanide antidote drug that we have with us in our hazmat trucks. If you can recall the incident with 3 kids that were trapped in a fire, in a condo fire, just west of here several months ago, is that for all practical purposes, they died in that fire. We resuscitated them. When we took them to the hospital, one of the hospitals requested that we deliver a cyanide kit to them. And we did. And that individual, that young lady, was ready to be released the following day that quickly. It was a recovery rate. And cyanide kit, what that does, it bonds the cyanide in the blood, and the blood then excretes it out. The other individual was then transported over to County Hospital. And again, not all pharmacies are open 24/7. So they had to call a pharmacist in several hours later to make a kit up. And that individual received the cyanide antidote and recovered in about 3 days. The last individual that didn't receive it in one of the West Valley hospitals, the recovery rate took about 3 to 4 weeks to get out of the hospital. So those are the kind of things that we're doing out in the field that sometimes even the hospitals aren't really have those kind of drugs available. Some of the other protocols that we've been doing, one thing that I'm very proud of is the STEMI heart attacks, which stands for ST elevation myocardial infarction, that we're able to identify on our 12-lead EKGs, and we're at a level of identify them at about a level of 96%. Hospital doctors, the ER doctors are picking them up at about 98%, to give you a comparison. They have the labs and all the tests available to them, well, we don't. But what that does is that once we identify that it's a true MI, is that we're able to bypass the emergency room and take them directly to a cath lab, where they'll do a CAT scan and then take them to surgery, which means that the time saved means that less damage to the heart tissue. Traumatic brain injuries is one of the things in the last few years that we've been doing, is that normally someone with a brain injury will thrash around and complicate, exacerbate the brain injury. We have the ability now to sedate someone to an anesthetic level where we breathe for them and reduce the amount of damage to the brain. So those are the kind of things that we're doing. What we're asking for is a change in the ordinance to include the name change of Fire Medical Department, and also to add into the ordinance the Medical Services Division that has not been in the ordinance as a major division in the fire department. In summary, the Medical Services name is ingrained in our mission statement, and it has been for some time. It more accurately defines who we are and what we do. It's a brand name, and we've been working through the labor management process for almost 2 years on this, and have consensus on the name change. And so we're recommending the name change. And again, what's in the name change? To Mesa Fire Department, amend a $12.5 million grant from the Department of Health and Human Services to pilot a community paramedicine program. And so they're leading the country on this whole program. But there's grants out there that would open up for us with the name change. And we're not the only ones. There's about 8 other departments in the valley have already taken that name change, including Mesa, Chandler, Tempe, Superstition, Surprise, Sun City, Buckeye. So there's quite a few. There's about 8 that are ahead of us in the name change. Questions?
Thank you. Are there any questions? Ms. Hunt?
Don't misinterpret this as my being against it. I'm just new here. And did you guys have a study session on this that I wasn't on council yet for?
Mayor, Council Member Hunt, we did not.
Okay. I'm not opposed to it if it's what you guys want, but I am totally intrigued by it. And I would really like to know, I think citizens are going to start asking me maybe what you guys are doing now? What's the change here? And I would really like to just know more about it. I think what you guys do is amazing. I always have. My brother was a firefighter. Part of me still is nostalgic for the term firefighter and fire station, and that's what you guys will always be to me. But if this is important to you, I support it, but I sure would like to know more about it. And I had jotted down a couple of notes. I wrote first, when do you see this all starting? It sounds like you've already started it. But when does it move up to kind of full-fledged where you really will be calling patients back the next day? And are you already doing that?
Mayor and Councilmember Hunt, we are to a degree. We're participating and partnering with hospitals. We're partnering with Department of Health Services and studies, and we've participated with the University of Arizona on some medical studies that have changed the way we deliver medicine. And so part of it we are, but the next step is the next level of breaking the paradigm, which the hospitals are all for it, and the insurance companies are all for it, because when paramedicine started, it was still working off a license off of a medical doctor in the hospital, and the paradigm was treat them and bring them in. Well, that has inundated the hospital care over the years, so now it has to change, and it's in the brink of changing. So I believe that within the next 5 years, we're going to see that. As far as our brand name and our tradition of being fire, that's still our core. We're still firefighters, and that will never change, and we still are called to fires and other emergencies. So that'll never change. That's our core of our existence.
My second question was, this must require a lot of upgraded training, especially for your seasoned firefighters. Are the new guys coming in getting this as part of their initial firefighter training? And is this costing the city to upgrade your, I mean, you're practically a doctor at this point.
Councilmember Hunt, it has evolved to where the training now includes a lot of the treatments that you're seeing today, and a lot of the medicine that we have on board is just a matter of changing that paradigm where we're releasing and following up, where the whole system is comfortable with us treating as if we were physician assistants, if you may. But the training is already at that level.
Okay. Mr. Toma?
Thank you. Chief, are there any costs associated with the actual name change?
Councilmember Toma, there is, we're looking at about $25,000 to change the stencils on the trucks, and we're not asking for any monies or extra monies, as we'll take it in within our own maintenance budget, and we can do it over 2 to 3 years. So, I mean, it will start with the shirts on the individuals' backs, and we have been telling them for the last 6 months or so that to wait for it, and they get their allowance next month, so we're ready to pull the trigger on that.
And is any of that cost going to be offset, in your opinion, by, I think you mentioned that changing the name would help us get additional grants potentially?
Councilmember Toma, yes, that's true.
That's your expectation? Okay.
Yes.
So are there any
Matter
actual
of fact, we
negatives?
have 3 new trucks scheduled for the end of the year, and if you guys approve the name change, they will come with the name change.
So are there any actual negatives that you know of making this change? Is there, other than perhaps confusion?
Councilmember Toma, not that I've known. Like I say, we have vetted this through the membership and through what we call the RBO process, a relationship by objective or labor management process, and both management and labor is on board.
Thank you.
Councilmember Finn.
Chief, I just have one question for you. Is there anything coming up pressing as far as grants to apply for that you would need this change in place that would compel us to try and make a decision tonight as opposed to do a study session that Councilmember Hunt had requested? Is there anything on the horizon?
Councilmember Finn, yes, there's some grants that we're looking at in the near future. And as you know, we're also looking at applying for our certificate of necessity for our own ambulance service, and those grants are also available out there that we're going to be looking at. And the name change is a lot what a lot of the grantees are looking for these days.
Okay, thank you.
You're
Ms.
welcome.
Hunt?
I wanted to clarify, I wasn't wanting to hold off the vote until a study session. I just want one after the fact, just for my own knowledge. But then I do have one other question. How do you merge your service then with the ambulance providers? Typically, when you have when a person has an emergency, a fire truck arrives with the paramedics, and an ambulance comes also, and they kind of merge on the scene. How does this work?
Councilmember Hunt, currently is that the ambulance provider in our contract is essentially transportation from point A to the hospital, point B, for us. So what happens currently is that we'll start the treatment, we'll put a paramedic on the ambulance to continue the treatment and have continuous care without any interruption. In the future, we'll be more flexible if we are to get our own ambulance, in that one of the persons in the ambulance may be a medic, and so we can turn over the patient over to our other individual, or swap the medics, where the other medic then goes back on the fire truck, and we don't have to follow them to the hospital, and there's no downtime on that fire truck.
Okay, thank you. Chief, I would just like to congratulate you. You have done a great job of keeping up with the changes in the medical industry. I mean, the model that we've had in the past, where you just pick up people who are ill and take them to the hospital and drop them off, is just over. Those days are behind us now, and so we have to change, and we have to stay up with the current model and all of the changes that have to do with the Affordable Care Act and insurance and the new way of doing things. It's certainly a completely new way of doing things, and we cannot look back. And so I think that the name change is just signifying that we are up to date with what is happening in our country right now, and what is happening for the people who are sick. And, we have to make sure that they're able to pay for their services. And so this will help them, and help them to understand that we're there for them to help them with those needs. So I appreciate that.
Thank you.
Madam Mayor, I move that we accept this R4C, which would involve changing the name, of the Peoria Fire Department to the Peoria Fire Medical Department.
Second.
Thank you. So we have a motion by Councilmember Hunt and a second by Councilmember Toma. Please vote. It is unanimous.
Thank you very much, Mayor and
Thank you.
Council.
Okay. We are now going to move on to the regular agenda, and is the mayor's prerogative. I am going to change the order of that agenda and move item 16R to the beginning. And in doing so, we are going to have to contact Councilmember John Edwards, who is out of town and will be calling in for this agenda item. Councilmember Edwards?
Yes, Mayor.
Well, hello.
How are you? Thank you.
You are broadcasting to the council chambers and all of Peoria right now. Thank you for taking the time out of your personal family situation to join us. So we are on item 16R. This is the Economic Development Activities Agreement between GE Civic Avionics Systems America, Inc. And so we are just to a staff report. Mr. Swenson?
Yes, Scott White, our Economic Development Services Director, will make the staff report on this item.
Great. Thank you, Mayor and Council. It's my distinct pleasure to start off by introducing our guest tonight, John Lyford, who is representing Aviage Systems, who I think would like to make a couple statements before I go into my staff presentation.
Madam Mayor, respected council members, it's a pleasure to be here. This has been, for me personally, a process that has taken over a year to reach this point. I have been affiliated with the Aviage Systems from Shanghai for coming up on 3 years since its formation. I have spent the better part of that time in Shanghai, China, and have recently repatriated to the U.S. In part to help oversee these activities. Aviage Systems is a new company. We're a maturing company in a global business. The aviation industry players rely on a global workforce to achieve the feats that we are able to accomplish from an efficiency and from a safety standpoint. And this year-long process has landed us in Peoria, and we couldn't be more excited to be here. So I don't want to take any more of your time this evening other than just thank everybody here. I'd like to acknowledge the economic development team that is working for the city, and specifically Scott White, sitting to my right, the enthusiasm and passion that they have brought to Peoria as presented to us really has been a big factor relative to my finding myself here tonight. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Great, thank you. So it's really exciting for us to have this item before you tonight. The matter tonight is consideration of an agreement between the city and GE AVIC, Civil Avionics Systems Americas, for the purpose of locating their civil aviation aerospace engineering, software engineering company here in Peoria. Part of our economic development implementation strategy, which is the overarching policy document for the city in terms of economic development, includes business attraction as a pivotal part of diversifying our economy and growing our community into new industry sectors that are growth sectors throughout the country. Targeted industries are very important to us, as exemplified by Aviage Systems being in the aviation aerospace field. They bring high quality jobs, meaning high salary, meaning high educational attainment level, which are the types of businesses and types of jobs that are important to Peoria. Because our plan calls for quality jobs and quality targeted industries, not quantity of jobs. So it's very exciting for us to have this opportunity. Our EDIS also focuses in on technology and innovation companies, because part of our objective is to grow our innovation economy here in Peoria. So we're very excited for this opportunity that Aviage Systems is bringing to the city. We also, in implementing our economic development implementation strategy, look to an existing policy as to how we look to invest in these types of companies. It's called our Economic Development Incentive Investment Policy. And one of the pivotal outputs from that policy is we are seeking to diversify our local economy into these types of innovation and aerospace companies, expand the city's economic base, and to bolster our workforce, as workforce needs of businesses are very, very important. The chart before you is from our Economic Development Incentive Investment Policy. Talks about minimum qualifications for projects as we look to invest. And as you can see, there are 3 here that are right on point with Aviage Systems. In terms of the jobs created, Aviage Systems is looking to bring 30 high-paid, high education attainment positions in the software engineering field. Minimum requirement is 10. Average salaries of jobs created, according to our policy, is $50,000 for the full-time equivalent. They're at $100,000, and the average educational attainment is a 4-year degree, and for software engineering positions is 4-year degree plus. So in terms of being right where we want these types of investments to be, it's a perfect match to what we seek in terms of implementing our EDIS. As we look at attracting businesses, we always have to be aware of some of the challenges that businesses face in terms of location. Looking at skilled and available workforce in industry sectors is always important. That always ranks very high among businesses in terms of looking at locational opportunities, as well as the existing space that's available and whether it's suitable for their business needs. And that was the case as well for Aviage. And so why Aviage Systems is important to Peoria is that its civil avionics partnership with the parent companies of General Electric and the Aviation Industry Corporation of China creates a great opportunity for us, not only to grow innovation in Peoria, grow technology in Peoria, to enhance our workforce, and to have strategic partnership capabilities and opportunities in the Chinese market and greater Asian markets. And we're very excited about that. Software engineering is a really high demand employment occupational sector. And so software engineering positions in aviation/aerospace is right where I think we want to be. Growth in aerospace sciences and engineering is also part of what Aviage Systems brings to the table. And that links nicely with our investments in Trine University in terms of their expertise in all aspects of engineering, as well as Maxwell Technologies in terms of their focus on engineering and energy storage solutions. So again, building that innovation platform and footprint in Peoria is very important. Bringing highly skilled workforce and highly skilled, high-quality job creation. Our approach to attracting companies is about what the businesses need to be successful. In our conversations with Aviage Systems through negotiations, it became clear to us that their needs were focused on company labor, workforce, and space needs. And so we were able to work with them to find a way forward that Aviage Systems could successfully operate in the city of Peoria. In terms of some of the deal points that are contained in the agreement proposed and before you tonight, speaks to the challenges that Aviage Systems had and how we could remedy them for them to be here in Peoria. And that includes looking at their labor costs in terms of the high salary associated with these high-skilled positions and highly educated positions. We're looking at investing in terms of their labor cost so that for every full-time equivalent software engineering position created, the city can contribute $30,000 per job created as a one-time post-performance payment, meaning that no payment is made until the job is created and documented as being created. So a total one-time payment of 30,000 times up to 30 jobs is a $900,000 total payment potential, again, post-performance. Additionally, it was important for Aviage Systems to have a space that was reflective of the type of work that they do and the type of clients that they will be bringing into their space. So having some assistance in terms of tenant improvement build-out was important to them. So we're looking at a one-time reimbursement of $100,000 to make the interior space of their selected building reflect the type of space that they need to be successful. As I mentioned, workforce is very important for these types of companies. And so the ability for them to attract the workforce that they need to be successful was a deal point in discussions. So to help them in attracting the workforce to Peoria, that helps their operations, but also bolsters our workforce overall for all business attraction efforts. We're looking for a one-time reimbursement payment of $5,000 per software engineer position created for those positions to be relocated to Peoria from outside the West Valley. Should those types of workers and skills exist outside of our West Valley area, they can come here, buy a house in Peoria, be part of Peoria community, and work in Peoria as well. So that would be a one-time reimbursement of a maximum of $150,000 or $5,000 per position times up to 30 positions. What was also important to Aviage Systems was the potential for a foreign trade zone designation, since they will be working on proprietary software in the aviation sector. They may have the need for exporting some of that software. And so a foreign trade zone designation like we created for Maxwell Technologies may bring benefit to them. So we are proposing a one-time payment of $78,000 that would be used for the city to procure a consultant with those types of services so that we can pursue a foreign trade zone designation, complete all the necessary and required federal paperwork so that Aviage Systems can benefit from that as part of their business model. Additionally, best efforts assistance that we might provide Aviage Systems in terms of the federal visa process is something that we are looking to assist them in terms of liaising, in terms of setting up meetings, and in terms of whatever best efforts assistance we can provide to enable that they have the ability to bring workers from China over here to help with the launch of their program. To secure our position in this investment, Aviage Systems has agreed to a 5-year operating covenant, meaning that they need to remain in Peoria in full operation under the terms of the agreement for no less than 5 years, or else they repay the city all money that we have invested in them. So the total potential reimbursement under the agreement, again, based on reimbursement and post-performance, would be $1.228 million for this Economic Activities Development Agreement. And with that, I'll try to answer any questions you might have.
Thank you. Are there any questions from council for Mr. White? Mr. Leone? Too late.
Yeah, I just got a couple of questions. And this is a great thing that's coming into Peoria. I'm very happy with it. I hope you expand and possibly hire 1,000 people. And that's what I'm looking for. The only question I have is that I understand you're going to relocate 30 engineers from Scottsdale. Is that correct?
No, what we're looking to do is assist Aviage Systems in their staffing of their necessary workforce. And should that workforce need require individuals that are not located in the West Valley to relocate based on their own personal decision, we would be willing to assist Aviage Systems to the tune of no more than $5,000 per employee that is hired in one of the software engineering positions to locate in Peoria, based on the following. One, they have to relocate from outside the West Valley. So that, quite frankly, could be anywhere in the country. They also, two, they have to purchase and thereafter occupy on a full-time basis a single-family residence within the city of Peoria. So they have to become part of the city of Peoria workforce so that they can live and work in the city of Peoria, but also has the benefit of growing our workforce from an overall business attraction perspective.
So how many are going to relocate from Scottsdale to here? 30?
We don't know what
Because you said
Aviage.
that before.
Well, what I said was that we would offer one-time assistance for Aviage Systems to hire the staff that they need, the workforce, and if that workforce is determined to need to move to Peoria and occupy a full-time single-family residence, then we would be providing a one-time assistance payment of $5,000 per position.
So
Where
can
they
I-
come from is going to be a function of Aviage Systems' human resources process.
So we're going to pay them $5,000 to relocate, and I don't have a problem with that, even though it's half in sales tax and it's the taxpayers' money. Are you going to keep track of that to make sure that they're going to use the $5,000 to relocate?
Yes, what the agreement says is that the city shall pay Aviage quarterly upon receipt of a report from Aviage identifying qualified employees, meaning that employees are holding the software engineering positions, that have purchased and occupied a new home in the city of Peoria, and the city will verify this report by reviewing employment reports.
Okay, thank you.
Councilmember Hunt.
This report says that the prospect is offering state-of-the-art integrated modular avionics computing system, network, and data concentration system that allows aircraft manufacturers flexibility in aircraft design and manufacturing to mix and match best-in-class functionality. Could you put that in English instead of Chinese, please? Just for our viewing audience who might not understand engineering avionics.
The technology and the product base that the company is incubating around really is a series of computers that are an open architecture, which means that companies other than Aviage can develop software to sit on these computers, much like they could your laptop or desktop computer, and the network that runs around the aircraft to connect these computers, as well as collect information from various sensors and control various subsystems that are on the aircraft. So we have network and computing. This technology is currently flying on Boeing 787 aircraft, and Boeing has recently announced that they are going to be putting it on their 777 aircraft, and we are currently working on a development to put it on a COMAC narrow-body aircraft that is under development in China. But in effect, it is an open architecture, a common computing platform, and the networking that runs around the aircraft to get information from point A to point B to allow you to control and operate the aircraft safely.
I'm sure glad you explained that. And then what do you do with these? Do you sell them to like Boeing and?
Yes.
Are they all used in the US or do they get exported like to China or?
Well, so currently the company is a China company and we are developing it in China. There is some legacy product that actually GE Aviation is producing here within the US, but ultimately it'll be manufactured from both to support both activities and sold globally to aircraft manufacturers.
Mr. Patena?
Thank you, Mayor. Mayor, I think this is a big win for the city of Peoria. It goes along with our economic development strategy by offering high-quality, high-paying jobs. And who knows, it might even open some additional avenues for similar or like companies to move into Peoria as well. I would like to thank all those. I know there's a lot of people that work very hard to bring this to Peoria, and I'd like to take the opportunity to thank each and every one of them for their hard work in bringing it to Peoria. My only request of Aviage would be, along Councilmember Leone's lines, is that make every effort to hire Peoria residents, if not that, at least residents from the West Valley. Thank you. I'm going to be voting yes on this.
Thank you. Are there any other comments? I would like to echo that and just thank you for coming to Peoria and for joining us. Thank you for putting together a development agreement that protects the citizens always. Stopgaps, post-performance, I mean, those are the kind of things that our citizens need to hear. And they also need to hear quality jobs and economic development moving forward in Peoria. So thank you very much. With that, is there, Carlo?
I did want to say one thing. I'm glad you're coming to Peoria, but you're coming to my district, and that's just great. Thank you.
Mr. Edwards?
No, Mayor, I'm good. I'm very pleased that they're coming to Peoria.
Okay. Thank you. Is there a motion for item 16?
I'll make a motion. I'll motion.
Okay. Second. All right, so a motion by Councilmember Edwards and a second by Councilmember Patena. Please vote. Oh, you know what? We are going to need to do a roll call vote since Mr. Edwards is not in the building. Clerk?
Councilmember Toma?
Yes.
Councilmember Patena?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Edwards?
Yes.
Councilmember Finn?
Yes.
Councilmember Hunt? Yes. Councilmember Leone? Mayor Carlet?
Yes. It passes unanimously. Thank you and welcome. All right. We will now return to our regularly scheduled agenda.
Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Edwards. We are on item number 12, public hearing. Liquor license, Barrel Grill and Modern Saloon located at 15703 North 83rd Avenue, Suite 110. Would we please have a staff report?
Yes, our Chief Financial Officer, Brent Mattingly, will make the staff report on this item.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. The properties were posted in accordance with Arizona statutes. All reviewing departments recommend approval. All the fees were paid, and no comments were received from the public.
Thank you. Council, are there any questions for Mr. Mattingly? Okay, seeing none, I declare this public hearing open. This is a public hearing. Is there anyone from the audience who would care to comment on this item or address this issue? Seeing no comments, I declare this public hearing closed. Is there a motion on item 12R?
So moved.
Okay, moved by Councilmember Thomas, seconded by Councilmember Leone. Would you please vote? Passes unanimously. Thank you. Staying seated, are you? Okay, the next item on the agenda is 13R. This is a public hearing, off-track wagering, license renewal, Turf Paradise, Days Hotel, 8955 Northwest Grand Avenue.
Brent
Staff
did such a
report.
good job on the last one, we'll let him stay.
Thank you. All fees were paid, and staff recommends approval.
Thank you. I declare this public hearing open. Is there anyone from the audience who would like to address this issue? Seeing no comments, I declare the public hearing closed. Is there a motion on item 13R?
So move.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion by Councilmember Leone and seconded by Councilmember Finn. Thank you. Is there any further discussion? If not, please vote. It passes unanimously. Thank you. All right, item 14R, Code Amendment, Chapter 2, Public Defender Contract Review Committee.
Our city attorney, Steve Kemp, will present this item.
Mayor, Council, this is a minor technical amendment to the city code. The Public Defender Contract Review Committee, which is the committee that recommends the selection of public defenders, it actually has 5 members. 2 of them are appointed by outside agencies. However, the code only makes a reference to 3 members, so we're simply correcting the code to make it consistent with the actual practice, which is that it has 5 members. And with that, I'd be pleased to answer any questions that the council might have.
Thank you. Council, are there any questions for Mr. Kemp? Okay, seeing none, is there a motion on item 14R? Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, moved by Councilmember Patena and seconded by Councilmember Finn. Would you please vote? Passes unanimously. And the next item on the agenda is 15R, Special Events Funding Request, 2015 Arizona Chinese Lantern Festival.
Our Community Services Director, John Sefton, will make the presentation on this item.
Thank you.
Thank you, Carl, and good evening, Mayor and Council. I'm pleased to present tonight a new event for Peoria as an opportunity to support the cultural exchange of the Chinese Lantern Festival. During the FY 2015 budget presentations and discussion, the then Mayor and Council collectively set aside a funding contingency as well as guiding principles for the support of affiliated groups that are creating events and activities that enhance the quality of life in the city of Peoria. Tonight's request, its principles and process are in alignment with that intention and the parameters of that budget discussion and the extensive study sessions that we had concerning special events. All of this is definitely in direct support of Council's direction of that time. From those discussions, together, we noted that special events have proven to be an important dimension to the overall vitality and the livability of our city. Peoria's blend of community events help to congregate citizens from across the city, enhance the community awareness, and attract tourists from the state and beyond. This item for your consideration tonight is to approve the affiliate status and funding support for the 2015 Arizona Chinese Lantern Festival. This request mirrors the process and intent of the previously council-approved 2015 Multicultural Music Festival, which received $29,000. So with the city's support, the Universal Cultural Organization, a not-for-profit agency, will offer the 2015 Arizona Chinese Lantern Festival Thursdays through Sundays, February 19th through 22, and February 26th through March 1st. The city-provided funds are proposed to cover the facility rental costs, which include the fields, the ramadas, the rec center, the city permits and inspections, logistics, and event-related staffing, as well as some additional support for marketing of the event. In January of 2014, the Universal Cultural Organization partnered with the town of Fountain Hills to offer their inaugural event. The event's intent and diversity and cultural significance received statewide recognition by the Arizona Parks and Recreation Association as one of the state's best events and received the Cultural Awareness Program Award. Over 13,000 visitors were enchanted and entertained by their experience. The UCO is excited to partner this year with the City of Peoria and to bring a uniquely diverse entertainment and visual display of the Chinese lanterns to the West Valley. The prominent feature of the Lantern Festival will be the beautifully illuminated, richly colored silk Chinese lanterns standing as high as 60 feet tall, each displayed with their unique story and Chinese tradition. The metal frame structures are wrapped in intricate and finely detailed silk and other artistic adornments. While I've selected just a few of the displays to pique your interest and to demonstrate the visual impact of the displays, in total there will be 17 different themes dispersed across the multi-purpose fields out at Rio Vista Park. In addition to the lantern displays, the event will feature food vendors and a beer garden, commercial vendors, ethnic performances, a children's pavilion, a mahjong tournament, and a health and wellness expo. And frankly, there's not another City of Peoria event with fire-breathing dragons, nor stampeding horses, all of which are truly amazing works of art. And again, the 2015 Arizona Chinese Lantern Festival is planned for February 19 through 22 and February 26 through March 1st. That's Thursdays through Sundays at Rio Vista Park. Tickets are available online now at AZ Lantern Festival, with early bird discounts being offered through January 31st. And as you can see here, the Panda Street team is out and about promoting the festival and the city of Peoria, and all the while bringing smiles and joys to those that they encounter. And tonight I do have Gary Ong and Kathy Hum here in the audience, and with that, we will do our very best to answer any questions that you may have.
Thank you. Questions from the council? I have a question. Have you placed these, or will you place these in Rio Vista Park where they can be seen from the 101 freeway in the evenings as they're all lit up?
Mayor Cartlett, the primary selection reason for Rio Vista Park was the adjacency to the 101. And yes, they will be seen very brightly from the 101 and the passerbys. Now, they will not interfere with driving at all. So we will ensure that drivers, now the passengers can certainly look across and inspire everyone to turn off right there at Thunderbird Road, and to come into the park and enjoy the activities.
Always safety first.
Safety first.
Well, I think that this looks like something that's so inviting. I don't know how anybody could pass by without stopping, and I think it's going to be a pride of Peoria. So thank you for bringing it forward. So if there are no other questions or comments from the council, do we have a motion?
I'd like to make a motion that we endorse the Arizona Chinese Lantern Festival to the tune of $21,000.
Do we have a second? Okay. Moved by Councilmember Hunt and seconded by Councilmember Patena. Please vote. It is unanimous. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Okay, it is now time for a call to the public for non-agenda items. If you wish to address the City Council for any items that are not on the agenda, please submit a speaker request form to the clerk. I have no speaker request forms at this time, so then we will move to reports from City Manager. Mr.
Thank you, Mayor Carlett. Two items this evening, and the first is some recognition for our police department, and Chief Minter will be coming down along with Julie Ayers, our Human Resources Director. And you all know that a key part of what we do in the City of Peoria is have good relationships with our citizens in a whole host of different ways. And nowhere is that more of a centerpiece than our police department. And one of the key programs that we have is the program that works with citizen leaders from throughout the community in a whole host of different ways. And Chief Minter has led that program with distinction and has received several awards. This one is actually a national award that Julie will present. Julie.
Thank you, Mayor Council. The Workforce Optima Awards is an annual award presented by Workforce Management Magazine, an organization for human resources and workforce management professionals. The awards recognize organizations who are redefining leadership by partnering with their community to improve the lives of those living in it, using technology to develop recruiting processes that address candidate shortages, and finding unique ways to make their workplaces safer. The Human Resources Department last year submitted the Peoria Police Department for their UCAN program, and I'm pleased to present them with the 2014 Silver Optimus Award for Partnership. And I don't know if we'll get a chance to pass this around, but it's a beautiful, beautiful award. This is a prestigious national award, and other winners include such organizations as Amtrak, ConAgra Foods, and GE. So I'd like to present this award to the chief, and I believe he'd like to say a few words about the award-winning program.
Well, thank you, Julie. Mayor and Council, just to give you a little background on UCAN for our new council members, the United Community Action Network, or UCAN meetings, were established to assist the police department and community members in developing and sustaining an effective collaborative partnership that explores the critical connection between crime, health, employment, housing, poverty, education, substance abuse, and mental health services. UCAN members include representatives from the following organizations: from the education sector, Peoria Unified School District and Trine University. Community organizations include the NAACP, the Greater Phoenix Urban League, LULAC, Arizona Muslim Police Advisory Board, the Somali American United Council. Service organizations include Habitat for Humanity, Valley View Community Food Bank, Recovery Innovations of Arizona. Community of faith members include Christ Church of the Valley, Antioch Church of God in Christ, and business community members include Peoria Chamber of Commerce, the Asian Chamber of Commerce, Target, Walmart, Kohl's, and AARP. And finally, our youth organizations include Team Emphasis Basketball Program, Heart for the City Youth Football Program, Future Stars International Youth Sports Camp, and the Boys and Girls Club of Peoria. UCAN members the discussion topics include several things that I'm sure you'll find are very relevant to some of the national issues that are going on around the country, such as community-oriented policing and community partnerships, police officer recruitment and testing processes, police use of force, which includes training, reporting, community concerns/expectations, officer-involved shooting investigations, school security updates, law enforcement/youth communication, summer youth programs, drug dependency education and treatment programs, and our Seniors in Law Enforcement Together education conferences, or our SALT conferences. In addition to attending the monthly meetings, many UCAN members also participate in our ride-along program by joining officers on patrol shifts, organizing presentations on drug dependency education and treatment programs, neighborhood cleanup projects. Our UCAN members recently assisted us with drafting the department's strategic plan, and they're also in the process of assisting us with developing our police department recruitment video that we're in the process of putting together. We believe that UCAN, also, since starting UCAN, the Peoria Police Department has experienced a 17% decrease in violent crime and a 19% decrease in total crime. We believe our UCAN group is an outstanding example of how city officials and community leaders realize that a strong community partnership that's built on a sense of community strengthens relationships and tackles persistent problems that can only be solved by people working together to help themselves and to help each other in a connected community. I also want to thank the mayor and council and the city manager and city administration for your support of the department and the program by attending several events and helping to spread the word in our community about this now nationally recognized community partnership program. So thank you all very much. And I'm prepared to answer any questions the council may have about the United Community Action Network.
Any questions for Chief? No? Thank you and congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chief. Julie. The next item we have is with respect to some changes in our solid waste collection, and Rhonda Humbles from our Public Works Department will give the council and the community a refresher on our 2-can program.
To the solid waste residential collection program. The first change is same-day collection. This essentially means we will be collecting both the trash and recycling. Got it? This means we will be collecting both the recycle and the trash containers on the same day, but it will be collected by 2 different trucks at 2 different times because we don't mix the trash and recycling. This practice will reduce the number of days that our trash trucks are driving through the neighborhoods. The second is container placement or location of the container itself. This is an action that council requested after receiving community input from a resident about access to the sidewalk. The street placement will help keep the sidewalks clear for easy pedestrian access. The third change is modifications to existing service days. Continued residential growth, specifically in the northern area of Peoria, has necessitated some changes to our boundaries. Therefore, to balance it, we have had to do some collection route changes as well. For example, my collection was, or currently is, on Monday and Thursday. However, beginning the week of February 2nd, it will go to Tuesday only. We understand that this is a change for some residents that may not have previously lived in a city where they had same-day collection or the requirement for street placement. Therefore, we partnered with the Public Information Office to come out with a public outreach program to provide information to our residents. Some of the outreach has included website updates, press releases, emails, sideboards on the side of our trash vehicles, an article in the Sustain and Gain magazine, the Peoria Now, and of course, website updates that include a map so that residents can locate their day. And again, all changes take place the week of February 2nd. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any questions?
Thank you, Rhonda. And I'd add to that,
Excuse me.
repeated
There is a question.
presentations.
We do have one question.
Sure.
I apologize, I was too quick on the button there, or too slow on the button. Two questions. One is, I noticed that as you mentioned, we're putting the cans out on the street. Has there been communication with the Postal Service or anything in that regards? Because some neighborhoods still have the mailboxes out on the street, and they get a little frustrated when they can't pull right up and deliver the mail.
That is a good point, that some
you.
of the older areas do have the collection for their mail receptacles sitting pretty close to the curbside. That is definitely something where we ask the residents to take into consideration when placing their containers to leave that open and free and clear.
Okay. Second question is, how has the public reaction been to this? Have we gotten a lot of calls at the city, or?
We have received quite a few phone calls. We have some that range from, thank you, finally, I moved from such and such city and loved it, don't have to remember which day to put out which container, it's just one day. And then we have received some phone calls from individuals who live in neighborhoods where the population is a little bit more dense, where the homes are closer together. And again, it's definitely going to take some good neighborly communication to locate your containers in front of your home and with enough distance around them so that our trucks can get in there and service them. So we've received a little bit of everything and in between. Actually, quite a bit have been positive.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Any more questions? Thank you. Change is hard.
Oh, yeah.
Best
Always,
wishes.
with solid waste collection, always, right?
Yes, absolutely.
And that's all I have, Mayor.
Okay, thank you. Now it's time for reports from City Council. Councilmember Leone?
Yes, thank you, Mayor. Before I forget, I just want to say something that I want to congratulate Lisa Estrada for her new promotion, and I want to thank Kyle Swenson for giving her that job. I think she'll do a great job. She's been doing a great job, and I know her and Susan Dee's been working together. Why don't you tell us what that new job is, Lisa?
Nothing like being put on the spot.
I'd say it, but I forget what it was.
Thank you, Mayor Carla and members of the council, and certainly Councilman Leone, thank you for your support as well as everyone's support. As you know, sustainability has been well underway with the city of Peoria. This position is nothing new except for the fact that there's a lot of work to be done, and we think that being able to focus on this position, which by the way is economic efficiency and sustainability manager, so it really incorporates the efficiencies that can be realized hopefully throughout the organization and really ties it in with sustainability, as sustainability should and hopefully will be integrated throughout. So with that, I'd be happy to answer any more questions about the position.
I think it's great for the city of Peoria, Lisa.
Okay.
Congratulations, lots of luck to you.
Thank you very much, appreciate
Needless
that.
to say, Lisa's the absolute perfect person for this position.
Thank you.
The other thing I want to January 8th at Pioneer Community Park was a Peoria Water Festival. It was the fourth graders learn about water and science and stewardship and watershed. And these kids were terrific. They were learning quite a bit. And as they were learning, I was picking up some stuff on it. I want to congratulate the school teachers and the City of Peoria staff who helped on that. And I want to thank Bo and his assistant for being there. He was taking a lot of pictures, and those kids just did a great job. And I'm still trying to find out where the water comes from and where's it going and how to shut the water off my backyard. I'll learn that someday. I also attended on January 15 a ribbon cutting at the computer troubleshooters and on Olive. It was a great rubber cutting, and if you've ever been there, go down and take a look at it. I don't have the address offhand, but if you need to call my office, I'll give it to you. I also attended Martin Luther King Black History Committee, the community center, and it was great. I've been going to those things ever since I started here, and I think it's great. It's a good fundraiser, and I want to wish them a lot of luck, and they do a great job. And hopefully that they'll have one next year again, and I'll still be there. God bless each and every one of you, and God bless America. Thank you, Mayor.
Councilmember Hunt?
I also attended the MLK dinner on Thursday night, along with Carlo, and I'd like to say that we can never hear the civil rights story often enough to keep it fresh in our mind. It's been a couple hundred years now that we've been working on getting along with each other, and it just surprises me that we're not any better at it than we were in 1864, or not a lot better. If you have a chance to see the movie Selma to remind yourself, I would do that. I want to welcome the Valdivia family into the Acacia District and into Peoria. I attended, along with Bill Patena, Saturday morning housewarming presented by the Habitat for Humanity. This is a wonderful single mom and her two children, one of whom is on a full ride scholarship at ASU, and the other is a 7th grade son who will be transferring to Murphy Elementary. And they're just a delightful family, and as in every case with Habitat, there's a great deal of celebration because you know that a great deal of love and work has gone into that home, and it's just the beginning of a new life for those people. And just wish all of you happy days.
Thank you. Councilmember Finn?
Nothing to report, but Chief Minter, I want to compliment you on the two officers that showed up at my mother's house when she set off the alarm in her brand new house in the district. So they were absolutely wonderful, and Mom, welcome to the district.
Councilmember Toma?
I don't have anything to report. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Patena?
Thank you, Mayor. As Councilmember Hunt said, I attended the dedication ceremony over at Habitat for Humanity, where they renovated a property, the Valdivia family. And what a lot of people don't know is that they actually take out mortgages on these homes. They're not given to the people by Habitat, and they have to do sweat equity either on their own home or on some other property before they even qualify. So again, this is not something that they're given. They work for it. They take on a mortgage. And the City of Peoria has been giving Habitat for Humanity money for probably the last 15 years, and we have a really, really good working relationship with them. They've built dozens of homes already in Peoria or renovated them. And the interesting thing about that is when they get into a neighborhood and they paint the house and they re-roof the house and they put new landscaping in the property, it really does and can change the face of a community, and it makes the other people in the area want to do the same thing. So it builds a strong community, and I'm really happy with the relationship that we have with Habitat. Also like to congratulate the Chief on your award. You certainly have taken community policing to a whole new level in Peoria, and congratulations to you.
Thank you. And I also want to reiterate that, that the community policing program has been so successful, and you have won multiple awards for your UCAN program, and it's because it involves the entire group of our citizens in every facet, business as well as community. So congratulations again to you, and I would also like to congratulate Chief Reese for the new name change that you have for fire, being more inclusive with your real mission and including medical in your name. So welcome to Peoria Medical Fire Department. And with that, we are adjourned.